Also tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled against a Grand Rapids man who was wrongfully identified and then beaten by federal officers in 2014. But the case isn't over yet.
News 8's Jacqueline Francis spoke with the man at the center of the lawsuit and explains what's next for his case.
28-year-old James King is an information security consultant living in Grand Rapids. He's also the guy seen here being tackled by police in July of 2014.
I know they were pounding him.
The incident happened in Grand Rapids. King, a GVSU student at the time, was on his way to his internship when he was mistaken for a home invasion suspect by two plainclothes officers. They stopped King, asking for his name and then his wallet. Thinking he was being mugged or worse, the then 21-year-old fought back violently.
They were literally pounding him.
They really beat the crap out of me, and then I was surprised to find out that they were undercover federal agent and an undercover Grand Rapids police detective.
These were the injuries King received in that fight with officers. Even though King wasn't the guy they were looking for, he was criminally charged for assaulting police. 6 months later, a jury found him not guilty on all counts. King then sued the government and officers, saying his constitutional rights were violated. 7 years and a Supreme Court ruling later, King's attorney says they've yet to have their day in court.
At every step in this process, the government's position has been, stop this case before it begins. Don't let any fact discovery go on. Don't let it go to trial. And all James and the Institute for Justice are fighting for at this point is the ability to go to trial and have a jury decide whether James's rights were violated, and if so, provide an appropriate damage.
His case getting hung up on technical legal rules sent before the Supreme Court to decide. This morning, the High Court ruled against King, determining that a local court's dismissal of his case under the Federal Tort Claims Act also barred his separate claim of constitutional violations. But King's lawyer says this was only a technical win for the government, as their case can continue on, as a federal appeals court is now being asked to rule on a portion of that legal argument, providing a possible path forward for King.
The Supreme Court could have very easily just said the government wins, the case is over. But instead, it said the government's right about this esoteric issue of jurisdiction, but there are issues remaining that need to be decided by the Sixth Circuit.
King and his attorney staying focused on the big picture, setting out to make change.
The ultimate resolution of this case will have an impact on how difficult or easy it is for any person in the United States to bring a lawsuit against any federal worker who violates their constitutional rights.
You know, it has messed with me emotionally, psychologically, financially, in every way, and I still deal with those problems 7.5 years later. And I can't imagine, what entire communities of people must feel that go through this kind of injustices day in and day out.
Although this case is headed back to a federal appeals court, there's no guarantee it will ever make it before a jury, but there is hope, which King says for now is enough. Reporting in the studio, Jacqueline Francis, News 8.